Hello, my name is Alice and today I want to talk to you about traveling from Nairobi to Dar-es-salaam and to Zanzibar. So the reason I want to do this is because when I was traveling, I didn't have a lot of information about the trip. First of all, I talked to a Tanzanian classmate of mine and she told me that I could go take Tahmid, which goes to Dar-es-salaam. And so I went to River Road to look for Tahmid. I should have probably looked for their offices online, but anyway, I got to River Road because I was like, I keep postponing, I keep procrastinating and not looking for the site of Tahmid. So I went to town and I started walking around River Road and I started asking, basi za Dar-es-salaam zinachukuliwa wapi? So the guy was like, oh, come, I show you. So he walked with me and he took me to this office that was called Sai Baba Express. So I paid for the bus. The bus was 3,500, but luckily I had Googled it before, so it wasn't a shocker. I already knew how much I needed to pay. So what I had to do was, I had to get up really early on the day of travel. Preparations aside, I had to get up at like 4 a.m. and be on River Road at 4:30 a.m. where the bus was going to pick me up. And the next day I was up, I took an Uber to town and I was there at around 4:40. And guess what? The bus arrived like at 4:42 and I boarded the bus, and we weren't so many, so I boarded the bus, and at exactly 4:59 the bus had already left the station. We traveled to Namanga. We got to Namanga at around 8 a.m. 8:20. So this is another thing. At the immigration, you really need yellow fever. You really need a yellow fever vaccine. So this is the yellow fever vaccine, and I was happy when I got it. And the funny thing is, at the border, if you don't get it, I remember them saying it's shilingi elfu elfu ishirini. Oh yeah, another thing I want to say about the border, please change your money at the border. Gosh, at the border they give you 22 shillings, and 22 shillings, 1 Kenyan shilling, 22 Tanzanian shillings, and I thought that was the best rate I could get, because at the forex in town before I left, I had a little Tanzanian money, but they were exchanging it for 20. In Tanzania, at the border of Kenya and Tanzania in Namanga, they were exchanging it for 22. When I got to Dar-es-salaam, another story, and it's a long journey. Let me just tell you, it's a 16-hour drive to Dar-es-salaam, and it is just exhausting. It got to like 7 p.m. and I kept on thinking, it's already 7 p.m. Dar-es-salaam is just here. My gosh, we traveled for another 3 hours before I got a whiff of Dar-es-salaam. And when we got there, I just remember thinking, I was panicking at that moment because I didn't know anyone in Dar-es-salaam. And what I didn't want to do was, I booked a hotel while I was in Nairobi. But then I wondered, now when we were getting close to Dar-es-salaam, I wondered, how am I going to get to the hotel? Especially since I didn't consider how far that hotel was from the station. So if you're going to take a bus, please consider how far that hotel is from the station, because you don't want it to be like smack in the middle of Dar-es-salaam and then you're all the way at the bus station. It's like, for example, if you're in Kenya, you probably understand this analogy. Like if you're in bus station and then you book a hotel that is probably in Umoja, when you're like, Kwanza, especially if you're getting off the bus, just talk to like the people who brought you there, like the people who have traveled with you the whole way, because those are guys probably who would advise you on where you can stay. So I didn't do that. They actually asked me like to change my money, because I didn't change all my money to Tanzanian shillings. So I was like, meh, I'm just gonna pay for my room with Kenyan shillings today, because he told me one Kenyan shilling 20, and I was like, at the border it was 22. I'm not doing that. So I left the bus, and as I was standing there, I thought to myself, why don't I just Google a hotel that is around here? I Googled, I was like, oh, hotels near. I asked for the bus station's name. I literally cannot remember it. So I looked at the bus station. Oh, it wasn't a bus station. It was just like the location pin where I was. And when I like pinned it, I saw a hotel just around, and I was looking around and I'm like, where's this hotel? So across from the road where I was standing, like just like maybe 5 meters away was a hotel. But the problem was I was behind the hotel, and then at the hotel they said no, they're not gonna take my Kenyan money, so I had to go back to the forex to change my money to Tanzanian shillings. So you should probably change your money at the border or here, or just don't wait to get there. So when I went to the Forex, surprise, like ghafla bin vu, like I don't even know what to say. They told me 1 Kenya shilling for 17 Tanzanian shillings. Do you know how much money I lost with all the money I had to change in that Forex? It was terrible, and I had to change all of it at that time because I was going to leave for Zanzibar and I wasn't sure whether I'd get anywhere like with an M-Pesa. So I really needed money on hand. I'm going to get to that later. The next day, and this is something that you should probably try out, I was supposed to have the motorcycle guy who had brought me to the hotel take me around, but I figured it's during the day, I'm not scared, I would probably go out, find a way to get a bus and go to the place I'm going. Finally I got onto the bus and I was told to go till the last stage. So I got to the last stage, I got off the bus and I was like, oh, here we are at Kivukoni. So I'm looking at Kivukoni like this and I'm just like, it looked like Likoni Ferry. How like you get there and you're like, oh, like I can see it's the other side. You can just see it. And I was like, I was sure Zanzibar was like kind of far, like 45 minutes journey. It shouldn't be there. So I asked a man and I was like, excuse, nilikuwa nataka kwenda Zanzibar na niliambiwa nikuje Kivukoni ni hapa. So me, I thought maybe I crossed over with that ferry and then I go the other side, take another ferry and then go to Zanzibar. So he's like, hapana, ulishukia hapa Kivukoni, hapa ni ferry. So I was like, I thought Kivukoni means a ferry. I thought there was only one Kivukoni. Apparently Kivukoni is just the ferry, but Zanzibar ferry was another place. And I was getting late for my trip, like as in because the ferries depart at specific times, so I was gonna miss the ferry if I didn't hurry up. So I took a motorcycle and they drove me back to that Zanzibar place. And so about the ferries, what I can say is there were so many offices, there were like 5, and all of them will show you different rates. So I went to Flying Horse, I came back with Kilimanjaro. Kilimanjaro was 3,000 shillings and the other one was 2,500. And luckily, if you're East African, like your rates are a bit affordable. I mean, 2,500 was not as bad because for people who are non-East African citizens, their price was about 5,000. So I did show my passport and everything and we boarded and I got to be in VIP, which was really nice for me. But then the thing that I didn't think about was the fact that I was going into the ferry. It was raining. And I'm going to Zanzibar. And I think right now is like that, at that point is when it hit me. I was gonna be on the sea with the winds that brought the Arabs to Zanzibar, and it just, I was so glad I hadn't eaten a lot because I just felt like I was gonna puke. I felt it, but I didn't. So I just remember sitting on my chair, and every time you keep being thrown like, because the ferry is going so fast, but then it keeps going because it's hitting the water. It was so bad. I just saw people start removing, like one of the captains or one of the guys who was on the ship came and started removing these mattresses and putting them on the floor, and this girl was just like puking and just sleeping there, and people were just on the mattresses, and I was just like, so what I did, I just decided I was gonna sleep. So I held my bag. I just carried a really light bag, so I held my bag and I just slept horizontally, and I just remember closing my eyes and just wishing, let this be over. My gosh, it was terrible. I did not have a prior experience with seasickness because I've never really been on the sea for a long time. We had smooth sailing for about an hour after that, like the last hour. So when we finally saw, like you see it, I was like leaning on the window and I just got a glimpse of these stone buildings, and you just approach Zanzibar from Stone Town and it's just, wow. How could such a gem exist in the middle of nowhere? It's so beautiful, and especially approaching it from that side, I was just like, this is remarkable. We went to the station and we got off. We were asked, all of us who were tourists, to stand on the side and show our documentation. So I showed my yellow fever and I showed my passport, and then I went out and I chilled, and then my friend came for me. So that was it, getting to Zanzibar.